Show me to a higher place.
Three years ago, we talked about a large planetary body entering the solar system. It's coming, folks. It absolutely is coming. And they're not going to say anything until they absolutely have to. And there is a lot of equipment being moved into our solar system to join what's already here. Now, at last count, there were at least 60 motherships here. I know that in the rings of Saturn and in the asteroid belt, or the bracelet, as the Sumerians used to call it, there was old mining equipment and other very large craft that were left there. Now, this isn't junk. These things actually still work after tens of thousands of years. Okay, they don't build planned obsolescence. These things work unless they're damaged or they're destroyed. That equipment also has been moved closer into Earth. However, it is in the infrared spectrum where we can't see it with our visible eyes. And the whole idea of this equipment being moved in is to mitigate the gravitational field and pull of this very large planetary body coming in. As it comes around the sun, it's going to come up in over on top of us. The idea is to create a shield above us to reflect this incredible gravitational field. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to experience movement. My understanding is that we will. To what degree, I have not been told. To what degree we would experience movement or earthquakes. I also want to share with you that in the Andromedan perspective, there's a lot of talk today amongst everybody on the planet about somebody Yellowstone, that it's a supervolcano, that it's going to blow. I have been told emphatically it wouldn't blow. That basically what's going to happen is the inner Earth supervolcano that is feeding Yellowstone is underneath Calexico, California, in Mexico. That's where it is. And through lava tributaries, it makes its way through Nevada, Arizona, Utah to Yellowstone. Well, as things start to go and it builds up, what it's supposed to do, and they have seen this, it is supposed to blow the back out of the San Andreas Fault. And that will immediately relieve the pressure, and Yellowstone will not go. I have heard absolutely no change to that scenario or plan whatsoever. And they were pretty emphatic that that's just what it's going to be.
Oh, it's coming. It's definitely coming. And, you know, there is a timeline that I've been given, and the timeline, and I know this is subject to change based on what's going on out there, and I'll share with you something that I haven't shared before, but there is a timeline, and that is that mid-March, somewhere between the 16th and the 20th, the weather is supposed to get very, very extreme. And if it continues on its present trajectory, somewhere between the end of April and the beginning of May, we will all see it as it literally approaches and goes over planet Earth. Now, the benevolent groups, they've talked about trying to change this trajectory. And the only trajectory that they could change it to that wouldn't affect the Earth would dramatically affect the rest of the galaxy. In other words, changing its orbit. The problem with that, though, is that the one that would help the Earth, one of its satellites, aka moons, strikes the sun. So clearly that's not a benefit to us. They're doing a lot of planning and contingency plans to mitigate its gravitational pull on the planet. But that's not even the biggest issue, because they can mitigate that. The biggest issue is it's got a 1,000,000-mile trail of debris that our planet would go through at least 5 times over the next 5 years. And the debris is a real issue because they turn into comets and asteroids. There's a lot of talk about plowing the road, but, you know, everyone on the surface would see this. This would not and could not be hidden anymore. So humanity, this alone would be an aha moment. They would see the intervention. And, of course, this would cause an enormous amount of problems for all the governments who have been lying and suppressing all this information, all the technology for years and years and years. It would literally be humanity's mass awakening at this point. It's happened 11 other times where the planet itself has had a pole shift. Not all of them are the result of Hercules, Nibiru, Planet X, whatever name you want to call it. Some of them have been just because of asteroid strikes that caused the planet to tilt. It could happen, but I know that the benevolents are trying to address that by mitigating the extreme gravitational field that this dark sun has as it crosses over us. One of the things they want to do is mitigate its grabbing our poles, which in fact causes us to flip. So that's being addressed.
Now, the last time this came through, it was on the other side of the sun from where we were. This time, it's going to be on the same side of the sun as we are. I will tell you what the probable scenario would be if there was no intervention. It would cross over. We would do at least an 83 to a 96 degree rotation of the planet. As it passed at its closest point, it would grab one of our poles, probably the north, and it would drag us a little bit out of orbit, causing the climate and the surface to be cooler. At which stage our scientists would try to create another sun, which would be the ultimate disaster. That isn't going to happen. None of those scenarios are going to happen. We will probably have some earth shaking and some shuddering, but there's going to be intervention. They intend to create a field, a gravitational field between us and this planetary body, this dwarf star, as it passes over us. We will be going through the tail of this comet, however, for over 5 years. There will be periods where we will be moving. The Earth's rotation will take us through the debris field. This is something to be concerned about, and I know that assets are in place, those that belong to benevolent extraterrestrials and those that belong to Earth or are Earth-based or Moon-based that are in preparation to help plow the road, to remove the debris as we pass through it, because they know they're way ahead of us. Humanity on the surface is what's catching up now. This is not to create a negative field. We are all going to be on the surface. We are going to see this event. It's going to be spectacular. It's going to bring incredible wonder. We are going to see brothers and sisters we didn't know we had stepping up, stepping in, running interference for us, watching our back, giving us an opportunity to thrive. None of this should be lost on any of you. Okay? None of this should be lost on any of you. How important this is, not only for humanity, but for you to understand and to know that, hey, we're not alone, and not only are we not alone, God, we are loved. Okay? We are actually loved. Even though we don't know them, they know us, and they know the struggle we've been through. It is imperative that you acknowledge this. And now that the fence is down, you begin to tap into the knowledge, the love that is being sent to humanity to heal, okay? And the earth as well. But what is happening is that our solar system will fully begin its descent into the plasma field, the equatorial region of our galaxy. Our solar system, as it moves, goes up and it goes down and it goes up. It travels this way, okay? As we're moving in the galaxy, 26,000 years, 26,000 years, 26,000 years, 26,000 years. Well, what we're doing is we're beginning our descent, okay, to begin a new 26,000 year cycle. And that descent will take us across through the plasma field, which NASA calls the Oort cloud. And that field is a huge electrical plasma field. And it will change our DNA. It will change virtually everything that we know. And what happens is once we cross that actual plane, we move into a different harmonic, a feminine harmonic, where humanity will begin to rebuild itself and regenerate and recreate itself in a safe environment, because that harmonic, that frequency is not about war, it's about compassion. And we're leaving the male dominant in the northern side of the galaxy. We're leaving the war behind, and those who can't let that energy go, that warrior, that control, that dominance, a lot of them, whether they're male or female, won't make it. They will check out. And the A's once said that many of the men would have brain aneurysms because they simply would not be able to handle the energy. I think most of the women could adapt, but not all of them will. So we will have 26,000 years of just incredible healing and rebirthing of humanity, before we begin that ascent back up into the male dominant frequencies. But, this has been going on forever, and many civilizations experience this on 3rd, 4th, and 5th density. That's all that's been expressed to me. I don't know what happens at 6th, other than the fact that I've been told that they don't experience the duality. It is primarily one harmonic.
The Earth has the ability over time to heal itself. We just need to learn again how to live with her, and not force her to do what we want, because that's not going to happen. We have to, again, learn to live with her like many of the native tribes and native civilizations have, before us. They had the technology. They were able to use it. The technology that's suppressed today, what Tesla created with ley lines and using free electricity, the technology exists where we can easily have what we have today without polluting the atmosphere or harming the Earth. But again, the objective from these rogue groups that are controlling the planet was to lower everybody's frequency. That was the plan, and that's why we have these issues today. And now they're trying to stir up all this fear, which would even lower our frequency more. Well, my experience with the A's is that they're interested in trying to save anyone who wants to be free. I don't know anything about a percentage. Their goal is to free humanity, all of humanity. Now, whether people choose that themselves or not, that's entirely up to the individual. But, they're not looking to save a percentage. They're looking to save all of humanity, or as much of humanity that they can, barring infringing on anyone's free will. So I don't know anything about that scenario where they're going to catch you, pick you up, or do a rapture or anything like that and say, okay, we're going to protect you, but not the rest of humanity. That scenario doesn't feel good, and it's never felt good to me. Between now and 2017, the end of 2017, maybe the first quarter of 2018, that the river of change is going to be dramatic. There are going to be dramatic shifts in humanity and how the planet works and operates very, very quickly. It's a lot of things are coming to a head, not to mention the fact that, our entire solar system is now moving through the galactic plane of the galaxy, which is an enormous plasma field, which is going to change and alter our DNA. There's some great psychics, there's some great mediums, there's some great healers on the planet already. There are some great visionaries already on the planet, great speakers, great intellects already on the planet. That will only exponentially get better as more and more people awaken, because that knowledge and experience is locked in the DNA, and the higher self knows it's there. Once the DNA triggers and turns on, we will be able to hold more light. The frequency of our bodies will rise, making our antenna and our ability to tap in to cosmic knowledge that much greater. And there's no stopping that.